up? It's Tiffany Logan Baker here. Welcome back to my channel. We are in week 2 of the book study, Daddy's Girl. The chapter is called A Walk Down Memory Lane. In this chapter, I talk about a lot of memories that I share with my dad growing up. I talk about how he used to prank us, how we went to concerts all the time, just a lot of fun memories that I share with my dad. Growing up, my dad just really loved to have fun. I mean, he still does to this day. He is such a prankster. He just loves life. He just loves to have fun. And he is just fun to be around. And I feel like I have a lot of those characteristics. I just love to have fun. I enjoy life. I try to look at the brighter side of things. My dad was just so fun and just so loving, charismatic. People just loved to be around him because he just had that type of energy where he was just easy to be around. And growing up, he was such a prankster. He would prank me and my brother all the time. Sometimes it was annoying, sometimes it was funny. A lot of times when I tried to have conversations, serious conversations with my dad, he would just always try to make a joke, and I was just like, okay, Dad, like seriously, I just need you to be serious for 5 seconds. But growing up, we lived in this town or city, and our house kind of sat in the middle of the middle school and the elementary school, so we didn't live too far where we had to take the bus in or for my parents to drive us, so we walked to and from school every day. And during the summertime, it was really hot, and I wanted my dad to pick us up. We didn't have cell phones back then, so I would go to the office and try to call him, and he would make us walk because essentially it really wasn't even that far, but it was hot. Who wants to walk in the hot sun? So on this particular day, me and my brother walked home. We walk across the driveway to get to the front door. The door's locked, and I'm like, that's weird. Why is the door locked? I know my dad's here because his car is sitting in the driveway. So oftentimes my dad would lock the front door, forcing us to either walk through the garage or go to one of the side gates. Door was locked. Me and my brother walked through the garage like normal. Little did we know, my dad was waiting on the other side of the garage door with 2 big, massive buckets full of water. As soon as we walk through, he douses us with water. And then he just starts laughing hysterically because he thinks it's the funniest thing ever. We're sitting there like in shock, dripping wet, like, wow, he really just threw water on us. And he said, I was watching you guys walk up the street from the window and you just look so hot, so I thought I'd cool you guys down. Okay, yeah. How about a glass of water? How about some ice cream? Even a Slurpee? But buckets of water, I mean, come on, Dad. He would scare us all the time too, hide behind corners, trees, cars, bushes, people, and just jump out and just scare us. I think that's why I have such a high tolerance of, I don't know, fear maybe, because my dad would scare us all the time, so it's like almost impossible to scare me. Another thing that I loved doing with my dad was going to concerts. Me and my dad really bonded over music, over the love of music. An artist that was huge to me was Usher. Every time Usher had an album, my dad would take me to his concert. And I don't even think my dad really even liked Usher like that, but since he valued our relationship, he took me to all of his concerts. And they weren't even like cheap seats either. It's not like he bought like these nosebleeds. No, my dad bought tickets that were 1 level above the stage. The reason why we didn't sit on the floor is because, one, I was little. I'm still like not even that tall now. But when you're on the floor, the stage sits up, so you're kind of looking up like this, and it makes your neck hurt. It's just really uncomfortable. So my dad would always buy tickets 1 above the floor, so that way you're kind of at the same level as the stage, and you can kind of see everything. And like, I'm having the time of my life, and my dad's just kind of sitting there like, yeah, he's okay. It was one of my fondest memories because I knew when Usher dropped a new album, I was going to his concert. And it really didn't matter where it was. I mean, he came to our city all the time. There was one time where we saw him in Atlanta, and it was like the best thing ever because I was in the city where Usher, I don't think he was even from there, but that's where he lived. So it was so exciting to be in his city, listening to my favorite artist with my favorite person. When I was a kid, we went on lots of road trips. So many road trips that as an adult, I don't like road trips. I would rather fly. If it takes longer than 3 or 4 hours, I am hopping on a plane because I spent a lot of time in the car with my parents, from going to Arizona to New Mexico to Nebraska, Arkansas, even to Atlanta, Georgia. If I could fly, I'm going to fly. I'd rather spend time buying a plane ticket, packing my bags, getting on a plane, getting to my destination, and having more time spending in that city. I know you guys are probably saying, but if road trips are fun, you can make memories, blah, blah, blah. And I'd rather not, okay? But there was a particular road trip that will always be fond to my heart, and it's when I went to Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where my dad and his family are originally from. My aunt accompanied us on this trip a couple of months before she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and one of her requests was to see Pine Bluff for one last time. So I went, I think one of my cousins went, my dad and his oldest brother, and we were in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, a really cute, quaint town. People are really, really nice. It's humid. It's the first time I think I've seen lightning bugs, which is pretty cool. We don't have those in California. But it was really cool to see where my dad came from and listening to them share stories about when they were growing up and just meeting family members that I have never met before. It was the first time I ever went to Walmart. First time I went to Sonic Burger. They had waitresses that came out on skates, which I thought was pretty cool. And just getting that history and just seeing how happy my dad and my aunt and my uncle were. It was my Uncle Charles who married me and my husband. It was just great to be there with them, not so much in the morning time because they were all early birds and they woke up so early talking so loud. I will cherish those memories for the rest of my life. My Aunt May was the closest thing I had to a grandmother. She was my dad's oldest sister, and I spent a lot of time with her. I was homeschooled for a little bit, so when my mom was at work or my dad had to meet with a client, I would go stay at her house. She would make a big pot of crab legs and melt some butter, and we would lay in her bed watching every single soap opera. It was great to just be with her and to have such a bond that I had with her. One time when I was at my aunt's house, I convinced her to straighten my hair. And growing up in the 90s, they didn't have hair products like they do now, so my curls definitely did not look like this. All they had was grease, mousse, hairspray, and gel. Grease was way too heavy for my hair, so my hair was like plastered to my head. Gel dried out my hair, hairspray made my hair sticky, and mousse just did some weird stuff to my hair. So I wanted to have my hair straight because I could run my fingers through it. It was way longer when it was straight, and it just looked really pretty to me back then. My mom wouldn't let me perm my hair. She wouldn't let me straighten it, but my aunt did. And she had a hot comb that she would stick on her stove, and it would heat up. And I remember sitting there in the chair, and she grabbed that jar of Blue Magic, and I'm just sitting there like, Auntie, you know, you're not supposed to put that in my hair. It's gonna make my hair like stick to my head like a helmet. And she's like, you need grease in your hair. And I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. She parts my hair, and she's like slathering the grease all over my head. And she grabs that hot comb, and as she's pressing my hair, my scalp begins to snap, crackle, and pop. She put so much grease in my hair that it was frying my scalp and running down the back of my head. And I'm sitting there like, does she not hear this? Does she not smell this? Does she not know what's going on? I'm just like, my head, my head, my head. And instinct is to put my hand back there. But when you have a black mom or black aunties, you know that if once that hand goes past your ear, it's getting popped by a comb. I didn't want to get my hand popped, so I just sat there and just endured. To see the look on my mom's face when she picked me up, she was so mad, and I loved it because I had straight hair, and I was just like, oh, Mommy, look at my hair. It's so pretty. It's so straight. And yeah, that didn't last very long because I was a tomboy and I wanted to play outside, ride my bike, skateboard, and rollerblades, and I sweated it out, and it literally looked like a big gigantic poof ball. But the good thing is I didn't pay for it, and whenever I wanted my hair straightened, my aunt did it for me. As I share the memories that I have growing up with my parents, I pray that it prompts you to even look again at your childhood. And I pray as you're revisiting your childhood that the pain, the disappointment, the traumas that you once endured, I ask that as the Lord is bringing those up, that you release them and place them at his altar. I also pray that you are able to forgive situations, people who have offended you. We don't forgive because they were right. We forgive because it gives God permission to step into the situation, to restore us and bring us to complete wholeness. And it also leaves room for God to deal with that situation and to deal with the person who offended you. Whatever the devil meant for harm, God will always use it for good. So I encourage you not to be ashamed of your past. I encourage you to forgive. I encourage you to allow God to just come in and heal you so you can get to the next level, so you can catch the lesson, so you can stop going in cycles. A lot of times we are unable to really walk in excellence is because we don't forgive. It's because we're unable to release certain habits, certain things that he's trying to prune off of us. A lot of times we prevent ourselves from getting into the promised land because of we're unable to move past whatever it is. God is a redeemer. There's nothing that he can't redeem. I'm a living testament. Although my childhood was pretty good, there are some things that have happened as I became older that I could still be holding on to, that I could still be angry about. And according to the world, I probably had every right to be angry. But according to the Bible, he says to forgive and release and allow God to fight my battles, because vengeance is not mine, it is the Lord's. There's things that God can do that obviously I can't. And there are certain things that I may not understand. I may not be able to comprehend why they happened, but God sees everything from a bird's eye view. He's able to see the whole entire picture, and we only see like this much. God is so good. So if he did it for me, he'll definitely do it to you. So as I walk down memory lane, I invite you to walk down memory lane as well. To cherish the good memories that you have, but to also release those bad memories that you have as well. So you can walk into the promised land free. So you can experience true and complete wholeness. There's nothing, absolutely nothing that God cannot redeem. Trust him, love him, spend time in his presence, release those things that had once kept you in chains. Jesus died so we can have life and have it more abundantly. We can't have it more abundantly if we continue to do things our way. His thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways, but he is perfect. He is true and he is just, and he loves you just the way that you are. However, he doesn't want to keep you where you are. So grab a hold of his hand, walk with him through the valley, and experience the promised land, the land that he has given to you. It is time for you to possess it. If you have questions regarding chapter 1, chapter 2, next week we'll be covering chapter 3. Please please email them to me at info@tiffany.com, or you can drop them in the comments below. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, please like, and please share. I love you guys so much. Until next time.